Well, I think at the moment there are still questions about the source and who exactly it was, of course, as well. But the fact remains, of course, that I am here in Kiev, exactly 7,828 kilometers away, 7,828 kilometers away from Washington, D.C. And yet this country, this town, is at the center of claims and concerns regarding impeachment processes and due process and actually what the president has done and hasn't done that may or may not be lawful as well. And of course, huge counter allegations going on. Why Kiev? Let's just remind our viewers why Ukraine as well. Basically, this is a country which has been, of course, at the center of huge seismic events, post-Soviet era as well. Then we saw the Euromaidan, which ousted Viktor Yanukovych, who was seen as a Russian puppet. Then a more pro-Western government of Petro Poroshenko came in as well. But during the Poroshenko years, there were questions about the corruption in the country. There were questions, of course, from the US as well about whether information that came from this country actually worked to the detriment of the president of the US, with the Paul Manafort issue as well, with the Robert Mueller investigation as well. So the president, Mr. Trump, has real concerns about information that is coming from Ukraine, and according to some reports, has made it a bit of an obsession of his, and hence why Rudy Giuliani, his personal lawyer, has got involved trying to investigate, one, whether the Robert Mueller investigation had its sources in this country with servers based in this country, and two, whether there was wrongdoing or not from Hunter Biden and, of course, Joe Biden, which is at the center of these accusations here. Of course, at the moment, there is absolutely no wrongdoing being seen by either of those gentlemen. All the allegations have so far proven not to have any evidence, but it hasn't stopped the president trying to probe whether there is information to come out, to be extracted out of Ukraine as well. Which brings us to the 25th of July phone call as well, which this whistleblower was so concerned about. And of course, the whistleblower went through all the right channels according to all the authorities as well. As Joseph Maguire said, the whistleblower did the right thing and basically went through all the right processes. But why did Joseph Maguire, who is the acting head of national intelligence, delay the transmitting of the details of the whistleblower claim to Congress as well? Well, let's listen in to what Joseph Maguire had to say in that very heated, lengthy exchange yesterday.
I want to make it clear that I have upheld my responsibility to follow the law every step of the way in the matter that is before us today. I want to also state my support for the whistleblower and rights and the laws.
Now, you mentioned there, Karen, what Adam Schiff said, of course, that it was a classic organised crime shakedown, so to speak, as well. Mr. Nunes, who, of course, is the Republican representative on the committee as well, said this is warfare versus the president. And you heard, of course, the comments from the president as well, saying there was absolutely nothing wrong with the phone call as well. But going back to the roots of it, the accusation is that military aid was frozen the week before that 25th of July phone call because the president, again, the allegation, the president wanted to exert undue influence on Ukraine to investigate the Bidens as well, and investigate why two prosecutors who had been looking at the Burisma Holdings group that Hunter Biden had worked for as well, why those investigations were no longer ongoing and hadn't gone any further as well. The accusation was met, of course, in one point by the president saying, look, I wanted to hold this money back because the Europeans weren't coming up with their side of the bargain. Well, very interesting looking at what the Europeans have done versus the US for this country since 2014. And Germany would bridle at those accusations, especially because they have given aid. Of course, there's been a limited amount of military assistance from Europe as well. But there's also been a free trade agreement with the Ukrainian government as well, which, of course, the Europeans say the Americans haven't followed through on. We have free trade, you don't. Plus, we've had $16 billion worth of loan guarantees, which is way more than the US has delivered as well. So that makes it slightly awkward defence for the president saying that the US was doing a lot more than the Europeans. The other point, of course, is what it means for Mr. Zelensky here in this country. Zelensky was elected president in March and April. He had a very successful parliamentary elections in the summer as well to consolidate his position here. He was elected, as our viewers will know by now, because he's not part of the political establishment here. He's a newcomer. He was actually an actor from a television series as well, but he is seen as a new broom brought in to sweep away corruption, to reform the economy, and indeed to sort out relations with Russia as well. Is it going to damage him here in the country? Well, the people I've been speaking to on the ground here say no, not yet. He's still seen as a new broom, and actually people are slightly bemused by events that are going on over in Washington and how they can have ramifications for this country. But will it damage relations with some of the key donors, key partners, such as Germany as well? Of course, in that transcript of the conversation as well, President Trump is seen as criticising Germany, and Mr. Zelensky is seen as agreeing with some of those criticisms, and perhaps Frau Merkel will not be too happy about that stance from Mr. Zelensky as well. So it may make for some awkward conversations between Berlin and Kiev as well. But as far as events are concerned, everybody here, of course, just looking with a degree of bemusement at the political process we're seeing over in Washington.
Hi, I'm Joanna Bersecci, and thank you for watching. You can check out more of our videos by clicking on the boxes on the screen. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more from CNBC International. Thank you for watching.